Twins are not always the same. You might see a pair of twins and think they are the same, but twins, even identical twins, do have their differences. One twin might like grapes more than the other, one twin might have a bigger dick than his twin sister, one twin could have a broken left leg, whereas the other twin could have a broken heart because their partner had cheated on them with the twin with the bigger dick and the broken leg. There's more to twins than what's on the surface. We might think they're exactly the same, and they are in a lot of ways, but in some ways, they're not. The most famous twins without a doubt in human history are Wiz Khalifa and Burj Khalifa, but coming in at a close second are Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2. Now they may be 3 years apart in age, so they don't come close to the definition of twin, but they're twins in my eyes. You can't have one without the other. Like how you can't be a billionaire without being somehow connected to a pedophile ring. But one twin is always better than the other, and we're all dying to know which Super Mario Galaxy is better, 1 or 2. I'd love to tell you, but actually before I even play the game, I want to bring up this little bonus DVD that came with it. It's a tutorial DVD that tells you everything you need to know about the game. It teaches you all of Mario's moves and gives you examples on where you can use them. This is very useful. It's dumb that the Wii itself cannot play DVDs, or at least not this one, so if you don't have the means of watching it, it'll do fuck all for you, but if you can watch it, it's helpful. I not only know how to control Mario, I know how to control Mario in 5 different European languages. English, Deutsch, Francais, Espanol, and Italiano! Cheers, Power Region Games, for making it all the way over to Australia. When are we joining the EU? What this DVD has shown me is that Super Mario Galaxy 2 looks very similar to the first Galaxy in pretty much every way, which I expected, but I didn't expect them to be so identical. But while the first impression is the most important impression, it's not the only impression. So let's see what other impressions this game can impress upon me by actually playing it. Let's go, los geht's, allons-y, vamos und andiamo! The game begins in a very similar way to Super Mario Galaxy 1 in that there's a star/comet based event going on in the Mushroom Kingdom that Bowser very rudely interrupts. But instead of unleashing an army this time, he just drops in and kidnaps Peach. Same as ever, he's just way bigger than usual. With the Mushroom Kingdom in ruins, Mario uses the help of the Lumas to make his way into space, to Sky Station Galaxy. Hey, that's the place from the DVD! I get to put everything I've learned to the test. Although, to be honest, everything I learned from the DVD I had already learned from the first Galaxy game. It is, or at least seems, exactly the same. The movement feels identical, the abilities feel identical, the physics feel identical, the approach to level design feels not identical, but very similar in the way that the levels play with orbits, how they are broken up into small planets, and how you launch between them through space. Which is cool, and being able to come back to this style of platforming is great. It feels amazing. But looking at this first level, it doesn't feel in any way different to the first game. Which isn't bad, the first game was great, but, you know, I was joking when I said they were identical twins. I didn't think they actually would be. If this game is just an entire game of more of the same, then that's lame. It'd be a real shame, for which Nintendo's to blame. But then my worries were quickly put to rest after Mario climbs aboard this starship made to look exactly like Luigi. We get to start the adventure proper, with the second level, Yoshi's Star Galaxy. Yoshi! We all love a good ride on Yoshi, and it's something we never got to do in the first Galaxy. By level 2, this game had proven that it was going to be bigger and bolder than before. Yoshi's Star Galaxy is an introduction to Yoshi, who appears multiple times throughout the game. In many ways he is similar to Mario, they both have big noses, wear shoes and move around, and Yoshi's normal movement is quite similar to Mario's. The difference in movement comes in the fact that Yoshi has better aerial mobility, being able to jump higher and further. But Yoshi's standout ability is his magnificent tongue manipulation, which involves using the cursor. Normally the cursor is reserved for collecting star bits at a distance and shooting them if you think that will help. It never does, but you can do it if you want. Yoshi repurposes the cursor for his tongue. Yoshi can use his tongue to pull things, eat berries, eat enemies, shoot enemies he eats, and even swing around by grabbing onto whatever the hell these things are supposed to be. I don't know what Yoshi has been doing with his tongue to make it so long, strong, and prehensile, but he makes for an interesting shake-up of the gameplay without completely losing focus on what the game is supposed to be. But Yoshi's tongue action doesn't stop there, he also uses it to consume certain berries and fruits that give him special powers? They are so spicy that he bolts around like a greyhound. They are so full of air they cause him to inflate and float up like a helium balloon. They are so glowing that they cause him to glow like a thing that glows. These are all temporary abilities that add layers onto the layers already added to the game. It's that sort of innovation and creativity that I look for in a sequel, taking it to the next level. But you've got to remember, this isn't Super Yoshi Galaxy 2. They haven't made Super Yoshi Galaxy 1 yet. This is Super Mario Galaxy 2. While I was thrilled to see Yoshi bring something new to the Galactic table, I wanted to see what Mario was going to do to keep things interesting, since he's the star collecting the stars. Mario had a few power-ups going in the first game, including the Bee, the Boo and the Fire Flower, and as much as that sounds like the name of a children's book, they were powers that Mario could find and use. They also appear every now and then in Galaxy 2, and are just as cool to use here. There are more, like the Spring, which also appears in Galaxy 2, but I didn't group it in with the cool power-ups because the Spring is fucking shit. Ooh, bigger jumps, who cares? But that's another case of been there, done that. I want to know what the new power-ups are, if any, and thank the stars there are any. Powers like the Drill, which allows Mario to dig through the ground and emerge on the other side of the planet. Powers like the Rock, which doesn't turn Mario into an actor that appears in every single movie despite the fact that he has no acting range, but instead turns him into a giant rock bowling ball. A boulder-ing ball, if you will. Powers like the Cloud, which allows Mario to walk on clouds and create mid-air clouds to stand on. Although I'm not sure you can have clouds that aren't mid-air. These new power-ups show up often and, like Yoshi's Berry Buffet, add so many layers onto the standard gameplay. It takes Galaxy 1's foundation and builds upon it, making things much more interesting and fun. It never gets boring. This extends to the levels themselves. From the challenges they present to the ideas they incorporate, they're brilliantly designed. Even from the first world alone, I knew that the levels in this game were all gonna be whoppers. They're great. Each level has something different to offer, some kind of quirk or feature that makes them all stand out in some way. You never get the feeling that they're repetitive. They're great. Each level has something different to offer, some kind of quirk or feature that makes them stand out in some way. You never get the feeling that they're repetitive. And what I especially love and appreciate is that they kept the game focused. Galaxy 1 was a focused game too, but it did have its fair share of what I like to call bullshit. There were a handful of vehicles that, frankly, weren't great. They were fine in theory, but they often revolved around motion controls that were awkward, or didn't work, or just sucked. Galaxy 2 does have a few of these too, but there weren't as many, and it was over quickly when they came. The adults will know what I'm talking about. The focus was clearly on Mario himself and all the abilities he's capable of, but when the game did get distracted with a bird that doesn't really know how to fly, and this ball with a power star stuck inside, it didn't ruin the experience. They were brief and easy to get done, so you could move on to the next good level. And it's just fun. It was fun before in Galaxy 1, but I really came to appreciate it more in Galaxy 2. Probably because they perfected the already brilliant formula. I can't overstate how cool some of these levels are. Slowing down time, complete darkness, slides, there's so much stuff going on in this game. They even let you play as Luigi sometimes. I don't know how he got here, but it's good to see the guy the Starship was modelled after. The only time I wasn't having fun was whenever my Wiimote cursor was having a fit, erratically moving around, appearing and disappearing, or just not responding to my movements at all. I don't know if there's something wrong with my Wiimote or if my Wii's sensor bar thing has some kind of dead zone, but it was fucking annoying. Especially when trying to collect star bits and navigate menus and such. I'm doing everything right, it's either the game, the controller, or the sensor bar being a temperamental bitch. But speaking of menus, I found Galaxy 2 to be a better organised game than Galaxy 1. I find the world map system to be more convenient than wandering around Rosalina's giant comet observatory. It is kind of stupid that the galaxies, which are supposed to be bigger than worlds, are in a world map. The worlds are bigger than galaxies and that doesn't make sense. But as a way of picking levels and progressing through the game, it makes a hell of a lot more sense. The Starship is a smaller, more manageable hub world filled with all kinds of useful amenities and services, like a bank and a post office. For some reason, not sure why, but they're here, it just feels more natural. It's just a bit of a shame that instead of Rosalina, we have to look at this fat fuck here. But you know, they serve the same purpose. Potato, pomato. But positivity aside for one moment, I don't really appreciate this game's approach to bosses. And it's something that Nintendo does a lot. They recycle bosses. I get that recycling is a great thing that people do. It saves the environment, minimizes waste and all that, which is a good thing. But the point of recycling is that you take something and turn it into something else. Not take something and then turn it into exactly the same thing it was before you recycled it. You fight Big Daddy Bowser 3 times in this game, and every time it's the same fucking fight. Bowser just adds in one extra attack each time. And that's lame. Imagine if you were playing something like Donkey Kong Country and every boss was this stupid ass beaver. You'd get sick of it. And that's how I feel about having to ass blast these big rocks into Bowser's jaw. Do better, Nintendo, you lazy bastards. That said, Bowser Jr. on the other hand does have a pretty solid variety of different boss fights, which is great. Turns out Like Father Like Son is a load of bollocks. As it should be. Follow your dreams, Bowser Jr. When you ascend to the Koopa throne, no one except Mario and Luigi and probably everything will stand in your way. The only thing that hasn't really built upon the foundation of Galaxy 1 is the presentation, which is pretty much exactly the same. Not a bad thing, of course, but you do hope for some kind of improvement. And there was only one improvement that I did notice. Galaxy 1's levels looked great, but they didn't feel like actual locations. They were lots of small planets, little bits of land, that were just kind of floating around in the celestial abyss. They felt like an actual location had been bombed, and the remains made up the level. Just bits of crap floating around in the void. Galaxy 2 does improve on this a bit, with levels generally being fuller, more complete environments. Not as much as any conventional game, but still a better job than Galaxy 1. And it does a good job in general, they both do. While they still for some reason insisted on keeping the level themes very Earth-related, despite being in completely different galaxies to Earth, they still look really good. I would have liked to see more alien-like areas, something you'd never see anywhere else. I would have loved to see the development team's wildest, craziest ideas come into being. It didn't happen, unfortunately, but the game is still gorgeous regardless, and the music is gobsmacking in a good way. So much variety from orchestral masterpieces to goofy, boopy muzak. Just like Galaxy 1, I didn't realize how many songs I've heard before come from this game. It's like finding out that quiche, cake, and children are all made of eggs. You just never really know how far a single thing can go, how much influence one thing can have on your life. I might be exaggerating, but it was genuinely surprising to see how much I recognized. Made it much more fun to whistle along while collecting those power stars. It also generally has a pretty dreamy feel to it, which is pretty wicked. I'm honestly finding it really hard to fault this game. It came a little easier with Galaxy 1, but now that Galaxy 2 has made a bit of an effort to patch up those holes, it's made it really difficult to pick apart. Nothing about this game is unpleasant, which is honestly really rare. That almost never happens. I love to whine and complain about every little thing that bugs me, but all the things that bugged me in this game are so insignificant that I don't think they really count. Some of them weren't even the game's fault. I suppose it is weaker in the realm of story. It's pretty much exactly the same thing as Galaxy 1, only Bowser just wants to be bigger. It's the same, but now Bowser is the cosmic Jimbro, the worst kind of person. But the fundamental idea is Bowser kidnaps Peach, which is what happens in every Mario game, and honestly, I'm alright with it at this point. That's the series' whole shtick, and that's fine. Even other traits this game has that other 3D Mario games have, like only being able to collect one star at a time and being booted out of a level after you do so, don't bother me anymore. At this point, I'm used to it. Now that I've got Donkey Kong 64 under my belt, I guess my tolerance for bullshit has gotten a lot stronger. But now to answer the big question, which of the Super Mario Galaxy twins is the superior one? One twin is always better than the other, so is it Super Mario Galaxy 1 or Super Mario Galaxy 2? I don't think it will come as much of a surprise, but it's a pretty easy win for Super Mario Galaxy 2. I honestly didn't expect that to be the outcome. Before I started playing it, I assumed I wouldn't like it as much because I expected the novelty of galactic gravity-based platforming to wear off. But it never did. And because Galaxy 2 expanded on the concept in new ways, it felt totally fresh, despite being pretty much the same thing, which is impressive. Galaxy 2 has more interesting, varied gameplay with Yoshi, a wide range of powers, and some very creative level concepts. It's more organized in terms of its hub and map system, even going as far as including a Starbits bank account for no reason at all. It's fantastically presented with fuller, gorgeous environments and brilliant, memorable music tracks that get stuck in your head. It's great in all the ways that matter, and at the very least acceptable in all the ways that don't. That's not to say that the first Super Mario Galaxy is lacking, of course it's not. It laid the foundation from which Super Mario Galaxy 2 could launch and reach for the stars. You're not supposed to pick a favourite child, but my favourite child is definitely Galaxy 2. It's just better in pretty much every way. On top of that, it came with a free DVD, fucking hell yeah! Galaxy 1 didn't do that, cheap bastard. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to find out which Super Mario Galaxy twin has the bigger dick. Ta-ta, tschüss, au revoir, adios, and adio!